great. I love it. Michelle Mendez. I do sim labs for first, third, and fourth semesters. So I've done clinical semesters. Engineering. Awesome. Good.
I'm Andrew Savis. I do sim lab for first, second, and third.
I'm Bianca Forrest, and I do first semester lab.
Okay. All lab people. I don't know how we got the group split up like that, but here we are. And with the mannequins, the reason why you turn them off during lunch, why we don't have Wi-Fi, is because ChatGPT keeps trying to connect to them, and if it does, they'll gain sentience and start the robot apocalypse. So let's not do that. Okay, so we're going to start with contact information. So I'm Mike. I'm the clinical coordinator here. And this is our contact information. So, why you would reach out to any of us. For labs, it's not really pertinent, but for if you decide to pick up any clinical shifts, then this is kind of where you start. If you decided to pick up a clinical shift and you are running late to it, or you are sick that day and you're not going to be able to make it, or it's December and there's a snowstorm and things are going to be delayed, let us know so that we can try to help give coverage or contact our clinical partners and let them know, hey, our instructor is on the way, they're just going to be late. Otherwise, the hospitals go and see all these students lining up and without an instructor, and they're like, oh, these are the slick students and they don't have an instructor. And they tell the people on their end and it gets to us and then they become unhappy. So we want to maintain good relationships with them, and so just us letting them know that we have the instructor, they're just going to be delayed, or something happened, we're getting a replacement instructor there, they'll be there in 20 minutes, goes a long way to help foster that relationship. So there's my phone number and email address. If I don't answer, then just start going on down the list. Michelle is really great at answering. I don't think she actually sleeps. She says otherwise, but I don't know. I haven't seen any proof of it. But yeah, just keep on going down the line. Next, I'm going to be covering exact. So, exact is one of the 7 worst softwares I have ever used in my lifetime, and we are actively working to replace it with something much better. But much better is a pretty low bar. So, as lab, do you use exact at all? No?
Is that what we do our primary numbers? In first semester did it for a while. I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it anymore.
So this is the software that we currently use to keep track of all of the clinical schedules and everything. So if you ever need to log in, these are the instructions. We would have to create a login for you, so let us know ahead of time so that we can get you set up for that. And then you just follow these wonderful screenshots. You log into faculty, and then this is where you see the students assigned to you. The students don't ever go away though, so once they're assigned to you, they just sit there forever. We have one person who's getting really close to breaking into 4 digits, so we're going to see if it allows 4 digits, or if it just stops at 999, or what happens. And that'll be a fun day. And then here is where you would see the different clinical shifts and review them. to see all the students there. Um, we want you to reach out to students 7 to 5 days before the shift. Otherwise, I have students emailing me like a day or two before, like, my instructor never reached out to me. What do I do? And so that's always kind of awkward on my end. Okay. And then this is also where you would fill out the clinical evaluation forms, which are changing and getting some exciting updates. So any questions about exact or contacts? Yes.
How do you guys do clinicals? Is it your, like, the students do the same clinical the same day every week, or does it shift for them? Because you say, like, reach out to the students. Is that what just before the first clinical, or is that every clinical you're reaching out to them?
Great question. So that's every clinical reach, every clinical you would reach out to them. We like to diversify the different clinical experiences that they have, not only between different settings, but different hospitals as well. Just to give them a more broad range of experiences, as well as hopefully find like, oh hey, I really like working at St. Mark's, and I don't like working at the U. Um, so it's so their clinicals are always different. I hope that
So if we pick up, if we're covering for someone's clinical, or if we accept the clinical position or whatever, we'll be at the same hospital every time. We'll just have different students. Okay. And then if we pick up, we'll then be told who our students will be from that.
Yeah, you got it. Any other questions? Okay, I will let Britt take over.
Yeah, and we'll go into all of that, yes, throughout this whole process. Sounds like you're interested, Michelle's interested. We do have some needs currently. Monday's primary children, so if anyone's interested. Everyone don't, volunteer all at once.
Yeah.
We lost you. They're walking out the door now. All right, we'll go back up here. Well, please, we are needs coming up. So if you are interested, please let us know. Okay, so we're gonna go over our expectations as instructors. So for the clinical setting, actually, I think I'm gonna skip ahead because none of you know much about the clinical setting. So maybe let's start from the beginning. So second semester students get 4 clinical rotations. Generally, we try to keep them in a med-surg field of some sort. Third semester students get 5 clinicals, and that would include your higher acuity, ICU, LD, NICU, primary children. So those would be included in all of that. And it's as you can imagine, for Mike especially, it's a very extensive process getting these schedules because we're working around not only the student schedules, their like didactic schedules with their lab schedules, their if they have CAPSTAs, we're working around the preceptor schedules, their individual schedules, their work schedules. There's a lot of things that go around Mike's job as far as that goes. So when we do have them scheduled, it's throughout the entire 12-week program, randomly. They might have 2 weeks off, and then a clinical, and then a clinical, and then a clinical, and then 2 weeks off again. It just depends. So with that, they are assigned to different hospitals. The adjunct is assigned to one hospital, either one unit or a couple units, or they're assigned to the entire hospital, depending on what it is. IMED is a huge, large facility, and so we usually have 4 adjunct instructors there, and each one takes about 2 units with their group of students. And those are every Monday. So that's just kind of how that works as far as scheduling adjuncts go. And then it changes per facility and per semester. So for example, St. Mark's, we were able to have 2 day shift rotations during the summer. This semester, we were given 1 night shift rotation. So it really impacts, we can't ever really be consistent with semester to semester just because it changes with the hospital needs. Intermountain as well, they changed to Epic. Their entire documenting system went to Epic. so they really limited how many students could come to them because they needed to train all of their staff on this entire new NMS system. So, a lot of scheduling things there. When we meet with students, I really am gonna go out of order here. Before clinicals. So what happens is we get in touch with our students 5 to 7 days before clinical rotation, and we send them a big long email that tells them what they can wear, when their breaks are, what time they meet, where can they park, all of that good stuff. And they respond back saying they received it, they will, agree to that email. At 6:30 is generally the meetup time for these hospitals and these students. The adjunct is expected to be there a little bit earlier, be prepared for these students. And then from there, you can take the students to their designated units in the hospital. If they're in an L&D unit or like a NICU unit or primary children's where they have to change scrubs, we try to drop them off there first, and then we go to the other units as well. And then we check in with these students throughout the day. So we used to have 2 to 3 check-ins per day, per clinical shift, but now we're moving to 3 to 4. And so the day would be from a 7 to 7 shift, and that would include 4 rounds on the students. That means that you're going to every unit throughout the day trying to find the student. And that's not like staying there for a half hour trying to locate that student, because they're busy. They might be in the OR, for example, or they might be in a patient's room managing something, higher acuity level wise, or they might be on break. So it's just kind of the adjunct trying to locate in a reasonable time, trying to locate these students throughout the day. We want face-to-face contact at least twice, which is why we kind of upped the rounding so that these students can be familiar with a familiar face and can be able to come to you in person with any questions that they've had throughout the day. It gives them an opportunity to talk with you about their goals. They have a form that they fill